So we're here with DB Hurley, the founder of Modoch himself today, that flew in specially for Automation Day from the United States. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And it's good to have you. So could you tell us a bit more about the story of Modoch? So how did you come upon this? How did you have this great idea of such a tool?
Yeah, absolutely. I've spent a lot of time in open source. And I guess that's where it all began, was I actually learned how to code working in open source. So I'm self-taught. I don't have a formal education in coding, but it gave me the opportunity to really be able to learn about software development through open source. And as I worked in the environment, I began to realize how valuable having the source code available was for myself and also for others. And as I was creating open source code using content management systems like Joomla, I soon discovered there was nothing open source in the marketing space. And so it just felt I was compelled to create something in marketing that was using open source technology. And that kind of is how Modoch got its start. It was just a back of the napkin. I wanted to write a program that was open source that would do this marketing automation stuff that I had heard a lot about, but there was nothing available. And just started working on it in the nights and weekends and slaving away at it, and just had a feeling that it was going to be something that could potentially be really big.
So what are the advantages of open source, and could you maybe explain it to someone that's a bit new in this domain? So what does it relate to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm passionate about open source, again, because that's where I got my start, and because I know that there's so much value in it. I blog about it a lot on my website. But the concepts are basically that it should empower people to be able to do more with something, and it doesn't necessarily need to cost them anything to do that, other than the time that it would take them to learn it. And so I wanted to begin to grow a community around this concept that the source code, the product itself, should be something readily available. And you should be able to take it and then modify it to meet your needs. And then ideally, you would be able to give that modification back to the community to help others. It's really this fantastic sense of community where we're all working together on a product, on a common vision that's going to enable all of us to do something better. And that's really where I find open source to be so tremendously valuable, because it gives us the opportunity to do more than we could if we were just working on our own independently.
Okay, definitely. I mean, it does make sense. And I feel like open source is more than just a way of creating a software. It's more of a state of mind, a way of thinking.
Absolutely.
And it's the idea of giving and sharing. So, and how did it become so big, and how did you make it expand? I mean, everyone is talking about open source, and everyone is talking about Modoch especially. So what happened?
It's really crazy, honestly. It happened really fast for me as well. It went from a made-up word that I said, this has meaning to me. It's marketing and it's automation, and you kind of twist it into Modoch, and just that's really where I thought, this could be something. And it was just me and a couple of friends working on it, and then it grew and word spread. Really, what became incredibly powerful for the community as a whole was through the use of language translations. Because Modoch can be so quickly and easily translated, within the first couple of months, Modoch, the code itself was translated into, I think it was 13 or 14 different languages, which at a global market, at a global community, it helps it to grow so incredibly fast. And so now it blows my mind to see 40 some odd meetups happening every single month around the world, and tens of thousands of people contributing. It's fantastic to see how it grows and continues to grow. So
definitely. And so how do you see the future of Modoch? What are, I don't know, can you share with us a few of your ambitions, little projects? Give us your secrets.
Sure. Actually, it was one of the reasons why I was asked to speak at Automation Day this year, was talking about what I believe we see for the future of MarTech and marketing automation. And really what I think we have the capability to do with open source is something that you won't find with traditional marketing tools. The ability to kind of work with different platforms, so kind of filling in the gaps between other solutions. So you don't have to necessarily give up the marketing stack that you're using today. You can actually bring Modoch in and work alongside those tools. I really think that our community is going to allow us to be able to create Modoch 3, the next major version of Modoch, to be something that is easily integrated with existing tool sets.
And what is Modoch 3 going to change compared to what we have today?
Sure. Modoch 3 will still allow you to have one platform to manage everything, but you won't necessarily have to use it all as one single platform. We'll actually be a headless architecture, so you can use just the front end with your own database backend, but you could also use just the back end and put it onto a different front end UI. So it allows you to separate those two out really easily. Addition to that, we also are introducing the concept of microservices. So you don't have to use one single monolithic marketing automation platform, but you can use just pieces of that in your existing marketing stack, like I was mentioning before, and be able to slowly integrate Modoch into your marketing throughout a variety of different ways. So it's a really unique way to do it, but the beauty of it is, at first glance, Modoch 3 will feel and look very similar to Modoch 2, so it won't be a huge shift for the end user. It'll just be far more technically advanced underneath.
Okay, and what does the community think about it? And more than just the community, it really has a lot of people working and getting involved in it, and so it's open source, okay, but how did people actually fall in love with your software?
Yeah, well, it's certainly a community software at this point, which is really exciting for me to say. It's no longer something that I have personally coded all of it. There's hundreds of contributors that have written code, which is fantastic. But I think it's been that it was so incredibly easy to use in the very early days. So once it became easy to use, it became easy to implement, and because it's open source, you could begin to modify it to meet your needs. And I think that just naturally it helped people relate to the software better, and then helped them be able to figure out how they could become involved in it themselves.
And what if someone today wanted to join your community? How would they do it? Or
I love that question because I love to see new people join the community. It's growing so fast. It usually means that wherever an individual might be, there's a local group of users already. And so the first and easiest way is to join the Slack channels, where we have lots of conversations happening all the time, and then identifying what are the local groups they can get involved in that are already using Modoch. And so they might find that there's a meetup that's occurring near them and begin to talk with the people that are using the software already. That's the first and easiest step, and then it's fix a bug and then create a new feature, and there's little steps that you can take along the way to become acclimated to working in the code, a little bit at a time. Okay.
I have a tricky question, but I'm sure it won't be tricky for you. What advice would you give someone that's, I don't know, thinking of going into the digital industry, or someone that's looking into it? What would you...
I can see why you would call that a tricky question, because the landscape in the digital market is changing so fast. And when you begin to look at the customer experience, there's a variety of ways in which that comes into play through software. And I think that for someone that's just getting into this space, kind of taking a very quick overview. I mentioned earlier today in a talk that I gave about the MarTech landscape in general, and there's 7,000 companies in that space. There's so many different tools that it can be overwhelming. So what I recommend is find a couple of the ones that are standing out the most, like Modoch, and get to know them, get to know how they work and how they can benefit customers and people, and then become an expert at that. And then once you're very, very good at those several systems, you can begin to grow your company based off of that. Okay,
it's interesting. We'll keep this in mind.
So, yeah.
And so one last question, since you're here with us at Automation Day, can you give us your opinion on this day and how is it going so far?
I'll be honest with you, I have absolutely loved today. Everything from the venue, which is beautiful, to just the sheer volume and number of people that are here and the questions that I've been asked have been tremendous. It shows that the community here, the marketers in the area are very knowledgeable, very eager to learn about what's coming next, and looking to see how they can use it to improve their business. So it's been a fantastic day for me, hopefully for everyone else attending as well.
It has.
It's been a great opportunity overall for the community.
Okay, well, great. And thank you very much for your investment, for making such a tool that's actually making us all get together today. We're really happy to have you among us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your stay here with us in France.
Thank you. Thank you so much.